Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today I'm going to be talking about aespa, who have recently been facing some controversies regarding their stage presence. This is a pretty broad topic, so I'll be using aespa as the main example, but I'll also bring up other groups along the way so the points make more sense. So without anything else to add, let's get started. For those who don't know where this conversation comes from, the topic of aespa's stage presence had already been discussed before. I remember they received a lot of hate at their debut because they were lip-syncing in every single performance, and it was honestly disappointing since we all know how strong their vocals are. That is undeniable, but it seemed like they were not able to show that live. I don't know if it was because they didn't feel comfortable on stage or because SM Entertainment didn't allow it. The real reason was never revealed. The point is that this debate has resurfaced recently because the group appeared on a program called Good Morning America and performed their latest track titled Rich Man, and many viewers commented that the performance was embarrassing to watch because they didn't sing live, they lacked stage charisma, and on top of that they were performing just the four of them without any kind of support from backup dancers. Watching the performance, there are definitely parts where they look uncomfortable, and in my opinion this happens for several reasons. First, the choreography is weak. There is no other way to put it, and this is something I have noticed in aespa's latest songs, where the problem is that the routine doesn't really match the track. I've seen many people on Twitter saying that this is something aespa has always struggled with, and personally I completely disagree because songs like Drama or even Armageddon, which is one of the newest releases, have really strong choreographies, but both Dirty Work and Rich Man come with routines that say absolutely nothing. I am not a choreographer, so I don't know if these moves are actually good because of some technical reason or dance theory, but what I can say is that they look messy on screen. It feels like they are repeating the same moves over and over, and when put together they become chaotic. If we add to this the fact that there are no backup dancers and also moments where the members take turns being completely alone on stage doing for simple steps, it makes sense that this has been the most criticized part, and honestly I can understand it, not to mention that the choreography itself is extremely simple. It is not even close to being one of the most challenging routines aespa has had in terms of technique, and maybe that is what makes it difficult for them, because they are not used to performing such slow and basic movements, and seriously, this is supposed to be the chorus. The second reason why I think the performance turned out so poorly is because, since it was an American program, it didn't have the camera work that Korean television usually provides. At the end of the day, these are K-pop groups and the choreography is mainly designed for their core audience in Korea. And in Korea it is almost guaranteed that you will get all those dynamic camera effects that really elevate how the choreography looks. For example, in Girls, which was also criticized a lot at the time, the dance break looks spectacular thanks to the angle changes and the zooms perfectly timed with the music, but without all of that it looks way less impressive. This happens with lots of choreographies. I don't think this necessarily means that it is a bad choreography in itself, but rather that the routine is created with those camera movements in mind, and if you perform in a show that doesn't provide that kind of work, then the quality drops immediately. And when you can literally see the girls waiting to come back on stage in parts of the choreography where they are supposed to be off screen, it honestly looks like a circus. And this is not something exclusive to aespa. Blackpink had the exact same issue in the same program. People called their choreography boring just because it lacked the amount of different angles and close-ups you would normally get in Korea. Where even when they release a so-called dance practice video, the camera is still moving around and zooming in, which helps the performance a lot. I also have to say that the camera work here seemed too poor to be real. So I checked other K-pop performances on Good Morning America to see if it had always been this bad, and for example 17's stage of Love, Money, Fame had a camera direction very similar to the Korean style. They used several angles and even zoomed in on the members singing, which elevated the entire stage. BTS also performed I-DLE there, and the camera work was very American in the sense that it didn't highlight the choreography properly. But I-DLE has such a strong routine that the performance still came across as powerful. So that really makes me wonder what criteria Good Morning America uses to decide whether or not to adapt to the techniques needed to make a K-pop stage look good. Why did 17 get those advantages but aespa and BTS didn't? It feels strange, not that they are obligated to adjust if they don't want to, but it's still odd to give some groups the proper support and not others. The third reason why I think the performance looks so bad is because they are uncoordinated. And I also think this is partly intentional in the choreography. It's a bit chaotic on purpose where each member moves however they feel at that moment. I don't think there's much else to comment on. Either they are coordinated or they are not, and in this performance they clearly weren't. We also need to talk about the lip-syncing. I don't understand why in a choreography that looks so simple you would use full-on lip-syncing. I'm not saying you can't use a loud backing track or something similar because at the end it can be exhausting, but not actually singing live in this performance seemed like a huge mistake, especially when they are not able to even make it look like they're singing. There was a moment where Giselle didn't even try. Sometimes idols also pre-record their vocals, make adjustments and then lip-sync to what they recorded a few days earlier, but to play the exact track that you can listen to on Spotify and expect us to believe you are singing live is treating the audience like fools. Watching this performance where they don't even sing makes it feel more like a dance cover than a real stage performance. I think that if a group isn't ready to release a song internationally, it's not necessary for them to do it, and even then, there are songs and songs, and this one, even though the track itself is made with the international audience in mind, the choreography definitely isn't. There's also the issue of stage presence. aespa has always been heavily criticized for not having that presence that other idols naturally have on stage. In fact, fans used to justify their lack of facial expressions on stage by saying it was part of their robot concept. Later we saw that wasn't the case because they improved a lot. I think it depends a lot on the song. I've always liked their performances and presence. But it's true that in both Dirty Work and Richmond, I haven't seen that aespa stage presence that I really enjoy. It's probably due to the concept because it doesn't quite fit them. Unfortunately, this has sparked a wave of hate towards aespa. Everyone now assumes the group is bad, and I want to say that you can critique an artist without it being hate or having to cross them off your list for a single bad performance. I think it's pretty sad to ride the wave of hate, because in 2 days they'll be loved again, and the hot tweets saying that this performance is giving high school vibes will be forgotten and no one will remember. If you like the performance because it shows something different, then that's totally your choice and it's fine. My opinion is that I really don't like their last 2 songs, and if they continue like this I'll probably stop standing them simply because it's not my style. I usually don't enjoy these songs, but if they make them happy, then they should continue with what makes them happy.
And this has been all. I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did, it would help me a lot. See ya.